Stop that. Do it again.
We're already live. Hello!
Good afternoon. Oh. Chris is on my nerves sometimes.
Yep.
So, anyway, today I wanted to go live about fructose. There's a lot of things online that are telling you don't eat fruit because it's making you gain weight. Well, I'm going to debunk some of these things for you and teach you a little bit more about fructose. Fructose is the natural sugar that is found in fruit. So, yes, there is a point where you need to have balance. I am not saying do not eat fruit. There's a lot of great properties with fruit that you still need to have, such as fiber. But with everything, there needs to be moderation, okay? I just want to throw that out there. And also, this is for educational purposes only. But I will say, take what you can, understand it, and apply things that also may be beneficial for you.
And as always, consult your physician.
And consult your doctor. Fructose, the reason why we also want to moderate fructose is because fructose is found in a lot of processed food that is given to us by the food industry, really. A lot of processed foods have added sugar in it, and sometimes they use fructose. And to us, we think, oh, that's okay because fructose is from fruit. Well, it's totally not okay because what happens is we overindulge in excess of fructose. And what happens? When we have too much fructose, this leads to fatty acid synthesis, otherwise known as fat.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me that if I am drinking V8 or if I'm drinking one of these other fruity drinks that I could get fatty acid synthesis?
Yes. Why? Because fructose, unlike glucose, fructose goes to the liver and turns into fat. Now, again, in excess of these things, which is just like, as I said earlier, our processed foods, packaged foods, it turns into steatosis. What is steatosis, Mical? Steatosis means there is a lot of fat in the liver. When that occurs, your doctor may say you have NAFLD. This is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So you may not be drinking a lot of alcohol, but you may be having a lot of fructose in your diet. That leads to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now, this is where I kind of jumped ahead of myself here. Chronic ingestion. You're having too much of this leads to increased triglycerides in your body, which is something that your doctor also checks for. And it could also lead to increased VLDL, very low density lipoprotein. When you break down this VLDL, it becomes LDL, which your doctor also checks. So what also increases with fructose? VLDL also increases.
Okay.
So,
question. You said fructose as opposed to glucose. So glucose goes to where? Goes to what?
Glucose gets metabolized, but today I really just want to focus on
fructose.
fructose.
I'm just curious.
Fructose, because a lot of times when we go into a processed food, fructose is used in a form of high fructose corn syrup.
And if you have questions out there, go ahead and drop them because I'll read them out loud to Mical as you ask.
High fructose corn syrup is actually one of the biggest culprits. And what is this made out of? Well, fructose, as it says, and corn syrup. They are bounded together and they inject. About 70% of this is fructose. So when I say chronic ingestion, well, just having something with high fructose corn syrup is going to increase the production of your fat and increase your LDL. So you got to be careful here. When you continuously do this, this is what leads to diabetes, obesity, and liver disease. Okay, now I said I jumped ahead of myself here, but liver disease, how does it occur? Again, just in recap, stay with me. Fructose goes to the liver and gets metabolized using an enzyme. It produces fat, which is your triglycerides, VLDL, and LDL. This then gets stored, stays in the liver, and it just jam-packs the liver with a whole bunch of fat And then your doctor takes a blood test, and then he says, oh, you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If you don't take care of that with your diet, then it leads to cirrhosis. Cirrhosis is really shrinking of the liver. It gets really, really bad. And that could lead to hepatocellular carcinoma, which is cancer of the liver. So just because you're not drinking, you're not an alcoholic, does not mean you don't have risk for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, cirrhosis, and cancer.
So if I'm someone who's suffering with this, how helpful is it for me to adopt this now?
Oh, very helpful. Because this is reversible. This can still be treated, but most likely it will lead to carcinoma. So you don't want to end up on this stage.
And carcinoma is?
Carcinoma is cancer. So what you want to do is, if you have this, your doctor has stated you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, fatty liver, you can still reverse that because of your diet. All right. Here's the truth and reality on why this is so prominent in our culture now, or pandemic, or the world. Why obesity is a pandemic. Why diabetes is running rampant, and liver disease. It's because of the food industry. 200 years ago, the average person was only taking 2 pounds of sugar a year. 2 pounds. Today, the average individual takes in 120 pounds of sugar a year. 120. Why? It's because it's in our processed foods and we don't care about it. Because you're not educating. You're not being educated about this.
And it makes food taste better.
And it makes food taste better. When we started going in the route of, I believe it was the low carbohydrate or low fat diet, that's when they started, low fat diet, that's when they started injecting a lot more sugar in the food to counterbalance the taste so that it tastes better.
Because fat tastes good.
So what happened was diabetes increased, obesity increased, and more liver disease. So high fructose corn syrup is cornstarch and fructose. This can also be stated as corn syrup. This is what is injected in things like fruit juices that kids have, and the food industry targets kids. That's why I do not allow Mariah to drink juices straight up from a carbon box, or carbon, what is it called again? Cardboard boxes. I don't allow her to drink packaged juices or anything like that. In fact, she just has water and milk. Yeah, really.
Water, milk, and when we blend up juices.
Fruit juices. But we don't blend fruit juices, but fruit smoothies. But I'm very particular about that. And so should you. You should be particular about what you are drinking. So soda, for example. Soda and all these other packages with ketchup, these things. Preservatives. We hear it all the time that ketchup has a lot of sugar. But to be honest, do you really care? You should. Because remember, you're increasing your amount of sugar per year. And you don't understand how what's happening to your body. And when you do understand, then you'll start to take action.
Can we, what is this all over again? Sorry.
High fructose corn syrup.
So I know that high fructose corn syrup is actually not metabolizable by the body.
Yeah, it's actually it's man-made.
Yes, so that actually stays around the waist. Your body doesn't even know how to break it down. I want to bring that up too because, as you said, it turns into steatosis, but that really doesn't go anywhere. Your body can't break that down like it can anything else. So I thought that was important to share.
So guys, again, this is for educational purposes only, but I do want you to understand the severity of what is going on in the food industry, and I would love for you to take time to look at your diet and see what area you need to work on. Is it cutting back on just simply soda? That could be your first step on reducing the fat in your liver. And remember, when our bellies are a little bit bigger, that also means there's a lot of fat that's accumulating in the liver. So if that's the case, start looking at these processed foods. Maybe it is cutting back on, you know what, quite honestly, go into your cabinets and start looking at your nutrition labels. Just take some time and look at those labels. And if you see this, if you see corn syrup, if you see added sugar, which is fructose, get it out.
And if it shows up on my label early on in the ingredients, does that matter as opposed to later in the ingredients?
Yes, that's a good point. So if you're looking at your nutrition label and it says ingredients and it's the first one after that word, that means that they have injected so much of that. That's the most predominant type of ingredient in that food, in that package. So if fructose is there, then it's a lot of fructose. So again, chronic ingestion leads to increased amount of your fat. So too much of fructose is bad for you. Is fruit bad for you? Not necessarily. It's the chronic fructose that is in the packaged foods, that is in condiments, salad dressing, soda, things like that. So I hope this has informed you, enlightened you more about nutrition, and has encouraged you to take a look at your nutrition label and make more educated and wise decisions. If you have any questions, reach out to us, message us. And again, if you have any questions about your health or nutrition, if you want to join my program, our program for Iron Sharpens Iron Fitness for nutrition, I'm always here for you guys. Message us, and remember to make moves, not excuses.
Awesome. God bless, guys. Have a